a couple more people.
All right, I'm going to get this going. We're going to start in just a minute, but I wanted to say thank you, everybody, for joining the Multifamily Foundation's Investor Branding Series. I'm going to turn off my screen share so you guys can see our faces, but here we are. This is, I'm Andrea, and this is Drew Clayton, and we're part of the ARMADA REI team, but we're just excited to be able to share with you what it means to be able to brand yourself online, in person, whether it's through social media or whatever means. We're just happy to share certain information that we just wish we learned in the beginning of starting this journey a couple of years ago. I've been in multifamily for a long time, I think about 6 years now, and it's always a continual learning journey. All right, let me share my screen with you guys. Get it going. Oh, hey, JJ and Jerry. Oh, how's it going? Happy to see you guys. Thanks for joining. Let's see. All right. So investor branding, what does that mean? We wanted to introduce you guys to our team first. We're Armada. It's great to meet you guys. I'm Andrea Garcia. Avishkar is going to probably join us a little bit later. He had a little bit of an emergency, but Drew is definitely our main integrator of our group. We're very excited to be investing in multifamily in Columbus, Ohio, and a couple other portions of Ohio as well. For today's agenda, we're basically just going to go through a round of introductions just to, it's a nice, intimate, small group today, but we're going to basically be able to network within one another and discuss what it means to brand yourself as an individual, specifically your personal brand, and that translates into your investor brand. All right. And then we're going to have time for Q&A and then just describe to you a little bit more about the Multifamily Freedom Chaser community. All right. All right, so let's do a little bit of a roundabout. Who are you? Let me actually stop this screen share so we can discuss a little bit more about who we are on the screen, but I'll just start first. I'm Andrea Garcia. I live in Los Angeles, but I invest across the United States and specifically right now in Columbus, Ohio with our group Armada REI. We invest in multifamily, 30 to 150 units, and they're all value add properties. And I'm the main underwriter, and that's what I've been doing the last couple of years. And now my focus is more education and helping you guys all grow as well as individuals. Feel free to network in the chat too, but if you guys want, you can feel free to unmute yourselves and just describe just quickly like who you are and what you're investing in, where you're located. Who'd like to go first?
Hey, who's going? You can go first.
You can go, JJ. I'll go after you.
All right, cool. Thank you. Hi, my name is JJ Miles. I do social media for, people, and I help them, gain a following, and specifically YouTube. I'm 17 years old. I like doing YouTube. That's pretty much all I do. Right now, I'm raising money for charity. So on Saturday at 12 o'clock, I'm going live, and every dollar that is donated, I'm going to do one pull-up for. So if you want to go check me out, I'm going to put my channel in the chat. But that's pretty much what I do. So yeah.
That's amazing. Perfect night for you to join, JJ. We're going to be talking about branding on social and various online presence. So we may throw back to you at some point to add some notes for us.
Nice.
Happy to have you here, especially YouTube. A lot of money on YouTube, and I've seen a couple of your episodes that you've done, and I think what you're doing is incredible. It's way beyond what many of us have done at 17. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Fred, how about you? Say hi.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I thank you for giving me a few minutes. Yeah, I'm a retired director of engineering. At one point I had 900 folks working for me. A lot of major projects, multi-billion-dollar projects, and that's what I did. I retired, and I retired because I've been in real estate for a while. I'm in Massachusetts, and I have about 17 doors, which I purchased about 16 years ago. So pretty much cash flow now, and allowed me to retire earlier. I am also invested in Houston, Florida, and we have a property under contract in South Carolina, trying to move that along. And again, just looking to network, looking to learn more and more. I think the education you guys provide is awesome. and just looking to connect and learn more. So appreciate the free education you guys provide.
Thanks so much. So JJ, at 17, if you pick up some properties now, 15 years from now, you could be, barely 30 and already
There
retired.
you go. There you go. That's the trick.
That's awesome, Fred. Are you a key partner or principal in anybody's deals, or is it mostly your own with your team?
Yeah, mostly my own with my team, but mostly my own. Yes,
Nice.
but I'm part of the Rod Cleef program, so I can syndicate GP, LP, JV. Pretty much have all that under experience.
Nice. Put your contact info in the chat, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to reach out to you.
Awesome, will do.
All right, we have time for maybe one or two more. Who else would like to go?
Yeah, I'll go. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm Jerry Miles. I'm JJ's dad. But I'm a lender. My wife and I, we've been investing for about 10 years or so, done flips, done rentals, mostly single families and duplexes. But our main focus is lending, and we lend through government programs, through CMBS, and a lot of private lenders and things as well. So I'll put my information in the chat if anybody wants to meet up. I'm available. So,
you're going to come meet up with us in when we're in Columbus next week, right, Jerry?
yeah, I'm planning to. Let me know when you're going to be there. Like what day you're planning to have meetups and stuff like that. I'll try to make them.
Yes, Sunday through Tuesday. We'll make time for you.
Okay.
For your whatever works.
Do you have any one night particular that you're planning to have like a big meetup with people, or just doing small things? Or
We're going to be jumping back and forth between meetings with various brokers, property managers, lenders.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, I'll probably get up there Monday then.
Sounds good. Great.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to it. We'll touch base offline.
All right, sounds good, guys.
Power of networking, guys. I'm telling you, start networking in the chat, introducing yourselves to others in the group, and just plug in where we can meet you at as well. Awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm going to continue with, let's get it going. This presentation, let's see. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming on and just sharing a little bit more about who you are. Like I said, this is an open Zoom. It's education, but we are not attorneys, financial advisors, tax advisors, etc. So the purpose of this series is for informational purposes only. And before making any investment decision, you should consult your own financial advisor or personnel. We like to give this disclaimer at the beginning of any Zoom or educational series we're doing, just because we want you to know we're not expert professionals, but just we're lending on our experience of what it's like being in multifamily for this long. All right, every single one of us has a personal brand, whether we like it or not. I actually heard this saying the other day, and I feel like it's completely true, because what you represent to your social media presence, your online presence, your personal presence, you are a brand, and you are the brand that's representing your company.
And note on that, one of the things we want to point out is tonight we're really talking about your personal brand. We're not going to focus on building the brand of your business, coming up with a company name or social media handles per se. This is really about who you are, what you bring to your business, and your business, your larger company really feeds off of what you personally bring first.
Right. So how do you figure out your personal goals? Like, to build a brand, you have to understand what are these personal goals you have in mind for your brand. Figure out first is, what is your why? That's your purpose. What is the ultimate main goal of being in this game, of what I'm trying to accomplish, and also how many people I'm trying to serve. Also, and what that entails, your character. What do you stand for? Do you want to be able to provide back to charities, to communities, or just make millions and go off to the beach? You want to understand, what do you stand for? What causes you support, along with how you're able to measure how you get there, which brings us to the metrics, is what do you want your personal brand to help you accomplish? And also the commitment. This has been the biggest trip up for a lot of people, is what are you willing to give up for your goals? I'm willing to wake up at 5 a.m. to be able to make time for the business or make time for my body or make time for my family. So what are you willing to give up in order to get to those goals? And also, we want to describe a little bit more about how to amplify your personal brand. When we discuss the personal brand itself, it's when people buy into a business, they want to feel like they can trust you. They're buying into you, essentially. And so you have to think about who can most gain from what you have to share. How exactly can you see yourself helping them? What are the things that make you unique? How do you know more, like what do you know more about than most people? I know specifically for me, I'm very well versed in affordable housing, multifamily investing, triathlons. I mean, I have my niches. So you have to figure out what makes you unique, essentially, and find other examples of other people too that are similar to you and how they are operating as well in the space that you're trying to break into. I think
so for, as you kind of get started, or even as you're growing, that first set of questions about identifying, what your why is, who you are, what you're willing to give ultimately to make your dreams come true, should start to kind of coalesce, and really sitting down and writing out in very clear language a mission statement for yourself and for what you're trying to achieve can get you sort of a North Star. And this is something you should have on, your social media, on your, literally on your wall, like write it on a whiteboard or print it out and like hang it somewhere, so that every day you're looking back and saying, yes, this is what it is I'm shooting for. This is what I stand for. So it's pretty easy to put one of these together. Kind of 4 parts. Obviously who you are, right? This is a mission statement for you yourself, or if it is for your kind of your business that you're growing, state really clearly what you do. And this can be kind of more aspirational and broad, or it can be very specific. Who you do it for, this, if this is your personal mission statement, this could be for yourself. It could be for your family. It could be for your community. Think really deeply about what drives you and what you're passionate about, and then put that in there. And then put some verbs, some action words behind it. What are you actually doing, and how are you impacting the world around you? So what you see here is the vision, our mission statement that the ARMADA team, put together. ARMADA changes lives by providing quality housing to our tenants, lucrative returns to our multifamily investors, while supporting community building charities. So that's who we are. That's 3 things we do, and that's three groups for whom we do it. So we're changing lives for these very specific identified groups. We want to see results from our actions, right? If you go back to that first slide that Andrea shared with the questions of like, not just why you're doing something, but it's there's the metrics aspect. Anything you're doing, you should be tracking. You should be judging your success by measurable, achievable milestones, so that you can say, yes, I put in this effort, it yielded this, and now I can aim higher next time and higher next time. And this is something your mission statement can grow with you as you evolve your own personal brand, and obviously your wider reach.
I would just add to this that, even our mission statement over the last 1 year that we've been working together has evolved. And it's, I think the mission statement has 2 purposes. One is an internal purpose, something that your team aligns with, you align with, and we all align with these purposes. They have a much more deeper meaning to us as a team, and it helps us unify and work towards a common goal. At the same time, there's an external purpose to this mission statement, wherein you're outwardly expressing what you think you stand for, what you want people to understand that you believe in. So take some time to think about your mission statement when you're developing it, because it seems easy, but it really requires a lot of deep thought, deep understanding of what you really stand for, what you really want to do in this world, other than, so it has to be something that's beyond just earning money. We're all here to earn profits. We're all here to earn riches, but what's the driving force behind it? And, I would challenge you to think about, what do you want to earn that money for? If one question that that's often asked is that, if you could have anything in this life and money was not a barrier to getting it, what would that be? And that would be your truest purpose, that would drive your mission forward. And finding that is important, and finding and actually verbalizing it, penciling it down into words, is what your mission statement would end up being.
Welcome, Avishkar, third member of our team, sliding in.
Welcome. Joining the party.
Hey, anyone in the audience, think about whom you want to impact with what you're working on. It could be anyone. It could be yourself. It could be, like I said, other new people in business, whoever that is. Throw it in the chat. Let people see what it is, who it is you're working for. Jerry is working to help other investors. That is awesome. He talked about raising money. The beautiful thing about investing is, we've seen no matter kind of what aspect of the business you want to do, you can find ways to lift everyone up along with you. Minorities, Andrea, yeah, absolutely. Everyone's got someone to represent. Your church, yeah, for sure, got that. Physicians from other countries, love it, Avishkar. You want to actually create community? Yes, absolutely, Fred. I mean, that's what we're doing right here. I mean, network in the chat there. Make sure you're sharing your contact info and keep on talking with each other after tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Your African community. Yes, Cecilia. Awesome. Love it.
Thank you guys for putting it there.
Represent.
Well, you're representing, basically. So your brand is actually the representation of your reputation. This is a very powerful statement I heard a while back, and I think it's very true, because once you build your brand, there's early steps and then there's later steps that you should follow in order to really be aware of what you are representing to the world. The early phases that we discussed is when we started in our journey, we had to realize, okay, we need to do a website setup for a specific targeted audience we're trying to serve, what social media looks like and how we're revamping it, building a quality lead magnet, becoming guests on other people's podcasts in order for you to not incur the cost of an actual podcast, but be able to share the knowledge you want to share to the world, and engage with other like-minded influencers, people who are doing what you're doing or what you want to do, and just give back. That's the number one feedback I've heard from anybody in any multifamily mastermind or any mastermind in general. Just, how are you being a go-giver? How are you giving back to others, and what value are you adding to other people's lives in order for your reputation to actually improve, for you to do what you say you're going to do? And that's very important. If you don't follow up, that's the worst way for your reputation to be tarnished. But there's always a redemption for everybody, and we're here to see how we can build on it. Let's going back to what's your actual presence, your social presence, specifically social media. So we don't want to worry about perfection or huge volume. You just have to get started. A lot of people don't even have a LinkedIn. They don't have a Facebook, Instagram, and you don't have to share personal details about your everyday life, just enough for people to know, at least surface level, who you are and your personal goals. Focus on the platforms that can reach the target investor you're looking for. If you think that you want to target only accredited investors, maybe the majority of those investors are on LinkedIn. It's more of a professional platform. Or some of them spend their time on Instagram. You never know. Posting is essentially a muscle that you have to develop, and it's not something that a lot of people are good with in the beginning, but you get the hang of it once you realize it's not so intense. We put in
another note on that. And the key there is also focusing on the platforms, right? like JJ, you're focused on YouTube and you are making that your strong suit. That's awesome. When you're new, you're starting out, or when you've got a niche that you've identified, get really good at those rather than trying to hit every single one. You can set up TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and like 9 other things and try and hit them all, plus produce YouTube videos, and have no time to get anything else done and have actually very shallow reach. Or you can focus in on those couple of channels where you know that your target audience and investors, or whomever it is you're trying to reach, where they are, get really good at those, build that audience, and then expand once you've kind of built that. You'll save yourself a ton of time and effort in the build up.
That's true.
And not only that, the other thing is that if you are trying to stretch yourself too thin by being sort of quote unquote omnipresent, like everybody, successful people on social media are, keep in mind that they have teams that are helping them. I think I'm sure a lot of people over here are familiar with Alex Hormozy. I think he spends about, was it $20,000 or $40,000 a month on social media on his team. And so you have to bear in mind that, a lot of us don't have that bandwidth of spending that much money when we're beginning. So it's always better to focus on one specific channel, because more important than the channel itself is the meaningful conversations that come out from that channel. So if you're going to be spread too thin on multiple channels, it will take away from the meaningful conversations that you need to have to develop that base that you need from your audience. And keep in mind that, you don't need a very huge audience. Even an audience of 1,000, which is highly super engaged, will make you super successful. It's just that you need to have the right audience.
Exactly.
JJ says, know who your audience is. That is dead on, sir.
Yes.
That is vital. We talked a lot tonight about like knowing yourself, knowing what you stand for, but like you are so on it. Know who you are, who your outreach is for. Everyone's got an ideal audience.
Yes. Well, this is why we wanted to actually amplify and focus specifically on describing what it is to have a social media presence. But whenever you do have a Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, obviously there's a section in there called describe yourself or your bio. So we just figured we put in an example of what it is to create a precision bio. Line number 1, it's usually what describes your role and your targeted audience. Number 2 would state who you help and how you help them. And line 3 would be essentially a call to action, like DM me or find out how to like download my free ebook for more information or invest with us. There's always a call to action usually when you see these types of precision bios that are very targeted. I just listed a few examples in here of some bios that I saw were pretty interesting, but everybody has their own style, their own social media managers, and the way that they're able to craft their bio is specific to who they are and the industry that they're serving. One of the women that I thought was really interesting was this woman CEO mindset. You just DM them the word Insta CEO and then you join their wait list. And then from there, it's like a funnel that they create for you to get into their program or get into their, community, whatever that could be. But this is how you this is one of your lead magnets, is your bio. Also, your web presence. Drew is amazing at this.
So this is one of those things that everyone gets. A lot of people who have never like done much, digital stuff, get us a little bit maybe nervous about. But one, it is absolutely not that scary, and 2, it is absolutely necessary. If you're really planning on having a business, it cannot be understated enough the necessity of being findable on the internet. Having social media presence is part of that, right? People search on YouTube is actually the second biggest search engine in the world after Google. That is a major discovery channel. So if you can, start building your YouTube presence even early on, amazing, but the number one is still people go to Google and say, hey, I heard about this person. Let me try and find their name. What was that? And they're going to be looking for that name that they heard, or your business name, or some combination of that plus a city, because they think you were operating in this, XYZ area. They need to be able to find that. And so a website is how that happens. So it is really, really not that complicated to get one going. It's not expensive. You don't have to hire a developer. You don't have to hire a designer. You don't have to do all these things that we often think are hurdles. Just go to like Squarespace or Wix or WordPress or whatever. These are all, one-stop shops where you can buy a domain and a platform and whatever. It's going to be like $15 a month or something like that. You can find cheaper ones. And they come with all sorts of preset designs, a single landing page. Everything is really like drag and drop. You're typing in words on the thing, and it is that basic. If you've used like Microsoft Word or an email, like Gmail, you can figure this out. It's actually pretty straightforward. They walk everyone through it. But what is really important is getting some text on that page. You've probably heard the term SEO. It stands for search engine. Or like, oh no, I have to hire someone to figure this out for me, or I have to load a bunch of keywords on it and have a strategy. To start off with, you just need to be upfront. Who are you? What do you do? Who are you serving? All those questions we hit right at the top of the presentation tonight. You should know about yourself and what your personal brand is. That all goes in here, written in natural language. Like a lot of sites, really will, for like, let's say investors, right, will say, hey, I'm Drew. I buy properties in Columbus, Ohio. Invest with me. Like that is immediately, boom, I've got my name on there. I've got what I do. I've got where I do it. And I've got a call to action. And those are all things that when people start searching, Google has indexed all that, and they say, oh, I think they're trying to find this guy in Columbus who buys houses. Boom. Over time, this will grow. Again, it's kind of like with social media. Don't worry about it being extensive. Don't worry about it being perfect. Just get something up and get started, and then start refining it and adding to it. The more pages you get, the more you talk about specific types of deals you do. That all helps. So it's really just about building it. The longer it exists, the more you add to it. That Google loves that more. They will start to put that in front of people more. And then link to it from your social media bio. Everything that Andrea just cited, that last item in there was, what's your website? If Google says, oh, look, the Instagram points to this thing and their LinkedIn points to this thing, that's a really good sign. It starts building your brand.
Thank you for that, Drew. Well, everything you just described is on this slide, and it's super important to be able to be findable, exactly what Drew said. This is actually a quote from Mr. Avishkar himself. And it really helped me out tremendously too in my own journey when I'm trying to describe my 6 years of experience in multifamily to somebody who's just starting out. Write everything. You want to say it, Avishkar?
Write everything in third grade English. I mean, so this is, I'll be honest, I'm not going to take credit for this. I was actually listening to Alex Hormozi talk about this, and this completely makes sense. A lot of times what happens is that we as investors know that the language that we use is much more complex and much more specific to our asset class of choice, right? We're interacting within our sort of community of, say, of our investors, real estate investment active investors who are in the community, and we use specific language. For example, physicians, when they're talking to physicians, they'll use specific language which somebody else will not understand. Similarly, engineers when talking to engineers, will use specific language that the other people will not understand. And that's just the natural way of interacting amongst humans. That's how we form a community, we form a group. But the way to really get through to anybody is actually to really simplify your the words that you're using as if you were explaining it to a third grader. So really simplifying it in English to and basically explaining the concept as if you're talking to a third grader is the way to get through to everybody. And no matter how educated, how many degrees that person has, it really does play on the subconscious, and it makes it much more easy to understand, and for other people to relate to you when you're talking, especially when you have that special knowledge of that particular field, but then you're communicating in a way that somebody else can understand, and that's very important. So don't overcomplicate language. I mean, we're not writing novels over here. We're not writing, this is not an English writing contest. The idea is to get the message across to the other person in as clear words as clearly as possible. And so you need to write it very simply.
Yes, thank you for that. That's helped me a lot, like I said before, just to be able to describe what we do in general to people who are not even in multifamily real estate, but they have a lot of money. I mean, if you can describe it very quickly, they're sold. How to grow your brand too. The growth phase steps. I think Drew actually contributed a lot to this too, in how he organized it. But a lot of us in this group of Armada, we've been able to grow our brand essentially by integrating a lot of these tools. And one of them is hiring a virtual assistant or some targeted use of artificial intelligence. That's one of them. I personally use partnering with like-minded influencers or just people who are very well versed in what they're doing, or podcasters and people who just want to find out a little bit more about multifamily investing, affordable housing, even triathlons. I've been on a few of those as well, and it's helped me just grow my brand and get more exposure out there. Social media expansion and revamp. I've had to do that many times throughout the course of the last year. And Avishkar recommended Active Campaign as well. He can touch a little bit more on that.
Well, that's basically email marketing. I think it doesn't matter whether you're using Active Campaign or using MailChimp or whatever email marketing tool you're using. The idea is to, at some point in time, is to start email marketing. And the reason being that even if you're targeting, even if you're talking to people on social media, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, that list is not necessarily yours. It still sits with that particular platform. Whereas if somebody's sending them your email or sharing your email, their email with you, you're communicating with them independent of the platform. Whether, say, God forbid, that platform shuts you down, you still have their email address to communicate with. And so the idea is always to start the conversations online and take them offline into the email world eventually. That being said, we put it in the growth phase steps because there's a lot that can be done when you're growing a brand, and it can be very, very overwhelming. So you do not need to do this to get started. So I think even if you do the early phase stuff, and even if you focus on just one platform with just good quality content that speaks to your audience, you will go a long way in finding success in that business, even without having any of the other stuff dialed in.
Agreed. Thank you for that. All right, let's see. Also, just running a thought leadership program. That might be one of them where you're potentially partnering with other people as well. You advertise with intelligence, become a sponsor to an event, or maybe a sponsor to somebody who's doing a deal themselves and you already have more experience. Avishkar actually started a podcast. His podcast is The Immigrant Doctor, and he's been able to get a lot of really good, high quality people on there who are able to share their experience, their tips, their tricks, along with building a community. When you get to a certain point in your career, in your business, you can be able to start a community and have other people network with one another and essentially grow the amount of people that are involved in that community and that space, and you're able to give back. That's the key to all of this, is just being able to give back. And who are you serving at the end of the day? What is your main purpose for being there? And we had a Zoom, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, about networking and networking with intention. So when you're networking with intention, it'll bring way more opportunities your way, and it'll also help build your brand as well. All right. We're almost at the end.
I did put in a book recommendation in the chat. It's called The Unsold Mindset by Colin Coggins and Garrett Brown. It's a phenomenal book. It goes into the details of, how actually branding works. Well, not necessarily just branding, but how selling works. At the end of the day, we're all selling whether we like it or not. We all, three of us over here talking, are selling ourselves, our ideas. Whether you're not paying with money, but you're paying with your time for being here. And so we're always selling, and how to sell the right way that it aligns with you. This book kind of goes into the mindset of how to actually sell. And one of the things that we do when we're talking is being authentic. And I think a lot of the conversations in this book actually are around authenticity, because a lot of times when we see influencers online, we see that they're messaging in a certain way, and we'll see that they're talking in a particular way, or they're targeting X, Y, and Z audience. But it's important to understand that it may not be your audience, that may not be your style. That does not mean that your style is not valuable. That does not mean that your individuality is not valuable. And that's why when we were talking about, who you are, then right in the beginning, that's what it was all about. It's about having that authenticity and actually embracing yourself. And it's about you becoming your personal brand when you're talking to people, because people buy authenticity. People do not buy fake stuff. So that is super important. And I would recommend, this book, which really goes into the details of all of this, and will certainly help you, become better at branding yourself and talking much, in a much better way to your target audience as well.
I agree. Avishkar, I wanted to say that we're actually almost at the end of this presentation, but I wanted to give a quick tips to people, just how I've been able to build my own brand and just be able to communicate with more people. They can easily go to my business card, which is my digital business card, or just I tell them where to go or where to follow me. And I can be able to share with them a little bit more resources about affordable housing, underwriting. Even if they have questions on my personal life, you have no idea. I mean, anytime I post a story or a post about my personal life, triathlons, my relationship, whatever it is, people want that element of you. They want something that differentiates you, whether you're into the show Friends or Gilmore Girls, or if you like a specific brand of something, people remember that and they say, hey, I remember that he went to Long Beach to do this type of a training, or he went here. So people want to see not only the business element of you, they want to know kind of who you are and also how they can relate to you, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care and what you're into as well, what you stand for.
That was fire, Andrea. Oh my gosh. Did you just come up with that line? I've never heard that, but I loved it.
That line when I was in my sales job of 7 years. And it's true. I mean, I would give out thousands of dollars worth of free stuff, free samples for the stores to try. And people really don't care how much you know about the product itself until they know that you care about coming back and serving them and their needs. They're not going to buy from you unless you care about them, unless you follow up with them, and unless you continue to foster that relationship with them. That's sales 101. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
I will say this, that the other aspect of being authentic, other than just caring for people, is also being vulnerable with people. Embracing your failures in life or embracing your failures in business, and acknowledging the fact that, we're all human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fail at times. Acknowledging that makes you more human. And a lot of times these, when you're posting on social media, the post where you're vulnerable will actually get more engagement than your other posts about success. Having said that, it is not to say that, you're trying to take advantage of other people's emotions by putting out fake stuff, by making up stories, but be okay sharing your failures or being vulnerable with people, especially on social media, because honestly, you'll find sometimes people will not relate with that and they may say whatever, but you have to sort of develop a thick skin to ignore the people who are going to be saying whatever they're saying, and forgive them for whatever they're saying, but you will find a lot of support also out there.
Yeah, becoming an Iron Man. That's the key. Thank you for that, Avishkar. And I just want to describe to you quickly about the community. That's what we have to say about essentially building your brand. And just, we want you guys to understand that this education is free and we're here to give back to you based on our experience and knowledge. The multifamily freedom chasers journey essentially is where somebody thinks they've learned all they can to know about the free education, but they realize multifamily is not for them, or they become a passive investor where it might be a limited partner in your deal, somebody who loves real estate, but becoming an active operator, no joke, it is a lot. But you have to really love it. You have to be engaged with it. So if you like being an active operator, you're looking to dive more into it and become an investor and operator, that's the active operator, somebody who's ready to join like a paid mentorship essentially. And some of those paid mentorships, I believe the MFC community has some preferred partnerships with, big names like Vina Jetty or even the Michael Blanc, a couple other operators who can provide you with those discounts at a really good price. So you just have to go to the website, freedomchasercapital.com/partners, and also feel free to join the Multifamily Freedom Chaser group chat in WhatsApp. That's actually brand new. We're doing a soft launch as of this week. So we're excited to share resources with you guys and just keep giving on into the community. And just so you know,
go back 1 sec. Just give people a sec to pull up their phones and grab that QR code. Make sure to snag that. Get it. We want to see you folks in the group chat. This is a growing community. Just open any questions you have about investing, any support you need. We can, we're all here to support each other, answer questions, anything at all.
Absolutely. Okay, 3, 2, 1. And this is our community, essentially, of our leaders. Every other Sunday, or you'll see a Sunday announcement where we have the Multifamily Freedom Chaser boys, Marcel, Trevor, and Victor. They're essentially doing activation Zooms where they bring somebody on that's well-versed in the space that they're focused on. Alternating Mondays would be Peter and Ed discussing broker conversations, along with a new series we have that's asset management series with BB and Iffy. And they'll do that every other Monday. Tuesdays, we have underwriting, mostly with Ed. He does a really good job of just describing napkin underwriting along with deep underwriting. He's under contract with a couple deals at the moment, so he knows what he's talking about. And then alternating Wednesdays would be our group, ARMADA, where we discuss the foundational elements of what it is to be in multifamily, along with Jerry's team, JJ's Papa. So Jerry and Shelly are amazing at describing what it is, what multifamily financing is, and breaking down those elements for you guys as well. And this is our team. Essentially, Avishkar, he's our team lead, investor relations and tax strategist at The Immigrant Doctor. And then he also has a podcast as well. Like I said, he's the money guy. And I'm the lead underwriter along with broker relationships, just connecting with all the brokers that in the area that we're focused on. And Drew, he's the head of operations and asset management for our team, ARMADA. Do you guys have any questions? You feel free to unmute yourselves or post your questions in the chat, and I'm going to scroll through quickly in the chat, but I appreciate you guys coming on. Are there any questions you guys might have? Even if it's just not including branding yourself, but it could be other questions as well.
I don't have any questions, but I do want to, again, thank you guys so much, because my next phase is really to dive into personal branding, get the website, get the media, get my name out there, my brand, so this is an excellent presentation you guys put together, and again, the community is excellent. The information you guys provide is unbelievable, really. I met Trevor, and I met some of you other folks, and again, it's a pleasure. And again, I can't thank you enough for that. So thank you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Fred.
Thanks, Fred. I also want to make a note that if you guys want Fred's information, feel free to go into Zoom and download the chat. He posts his contact info there. And you sound like you're very well versed in what you're doing, and we'll be happy to partner with you in the future too. Thanks for coming on.
Awesome. My pleasure. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question? Okay. 3, 2, and 1. All right. Next topics we're discussing would be November 1st, Armada's multifamily journey. It's going to be a free-for-all of discussing your journey and a few tips of how we've gotten to where we are and what we're looking towards next, along with the next topic, which is 2 weeks after that, November 15th, lingo and metrics, multifamily lingo and metrics. It's very important to understand, and I'm going to do the best I can to condense multifamily within 1 hour for your education and understanding. Here's our community again, and I want to thank you guys for coming on. This is a very big thing for us to get your time, your attention, and feel free to network with each other as well. If you guys still have any questions, like I said, unmute yourself or post them in the chat. Let me actually take a photo of you guys, if that's all right. We're going to take a selfie really quickly. 3, 2, 1, smile. Thanks, guys. All right, let me see if there's anything in the chat. Thank you guys so much.
This goes on to social media. This is content for social media. Just if you guys, in case you guys are wondering what this is, that's what it is.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Amazing.
Appreciate you all being here. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.